Previously on Learning Curve.
What's in the box?
This thing, it could be anything. It could be a robot that knows a lot of trivia about Ronnie James Dio. Hey, it's all about wood filler and sandpaper grit this week on Learning Curve. As you may or may not know, I'm building a StewMac Telecaster kit as my quarantine build. This week I'm going to go through the steps of getting the body prepped to be finished. The first thing I'm going to do is not in the instructions. I'm putting in a tummy cut. The tummy cut is that little curve in the back that you see on like a Stratocaster. It's on a lot of guitars now, but the Strat was the first one to have it. Invented by Leo Fender. He was trying to figure out changes to make. Like the Telecaster had been a huge success, but he wanted to do some upgrades. So we talked to some musicians and some other guitar folks, and he was a big crowdsourcer. So this was designed at a time when Americans lived primarily on pancakes and tater tots, and everybody had a big. No, they didn't. I'm just making that up. But I'm kind of chubby, so I like to have I like it to fit my body a little bit better. Now, this is an easy mod to do. It's an easy thing to do. Basically, I measured the tummy cut on my Stratocaster, right? It's about 11 inches. Then I took a pencil, and I'm not telling you this. You already know this, and not because I almost did it. But use a pencil. Don't use a pen. You can't erase pen. You already know that. It's for other people, not you. You wouldn't do that. Anyway. So take a pencil. I measured about 11 inches apart on the body of the Telecaster. Then I figured out where I thought the bottom should be and where the top should be. And then I kind of connected the dots in the shape that looked like a tummy cut. If you don't like what you got, just erase it and do it again. And then this is the part that's not for the faint of heart. I took a file and I filed. And then I filed some more. It took about an hour and a half, maybe a little more than that. Basically, I just put on a podcast and drifted off into tummy cut land. And once it looked the way I wanted it to look, I erased the leftover graphite from the pencil. I took increasing grades of sandpaper, smoothed it out, and now I have a nice little tummy cut in my new Telecaster body. So that's cool. So the next part is in the instructions. Before you paint the body, you have to fill in the wood grain. This guitar has a mahogany body, and mahogany has wide pores in it. And you need to fill those pores in if you want the paint to be smooth when you're done. So to do that, what you do is you take wood grain filler, which they send us with their finishing kit. The ratio on the back of the bag says 2-to-1, and I assume that meant 2 parts mixed to 1 part water, but it also gives you really good instructions. It says mix it to in between the consistency of ketchup and sour cream, and that is just brilliant because the whole time you're stirring, you just go, is that what a French fry? Does it feel like a French fry being dragged through? It does. Now it's thick enough. Once you get past sour cream to say, I don't know, a thick custard? What's thicker than sour cream? Maybe a roux? Maybe ice cream? Yeah, like an ice cream that's almost a little too frozen. Yeah, something like that. Then, no, we got too much. Add more water. So you go back and forth. So the first mix, super careful. I'm using exact measurements. I'm really on top of it. But as time goes on, you just start doing it by feel, and you add a little more mix, then you add a little more water, then you add a little more mix. And actually, I think that's the route. You know, you don't want to put in too much because you don't want to waste it, because they give you a pretty fair amount. But you're going to go by feel anyway. So don't go crazy getting everything precisely 2-to-1, right? Just go by feel. Now I used, they recommend using a plastic card to apply the wood grain filler, but I had a brush, so that's what I used. I used just a regular paintbrush. I applied it on smooth and thick. You put on the first coat, you let it dry for about an hour, then you sand it down with 320 grit sandpaper. Then you do it again. Same process, and then sand it again, and then let it dry for an hour, and then sand it again. Then apply another layer, then let it dry, and then sand it again. And then what they suggest you do is you take a damp rag and you go over the guitar and you look for, they call it raising the grain. You're looking for parts that stick out, things that need to be smoothed out and flattened out. And I really recommend that you roll this around in the light, because it's just easy to miss spots. It's really easy to, have things slip through the cracks. So you want to look at it from different angles and different lighting, and just take your time, because this is the foundation and you need this foundation to be good. Okay. After you apply the third coat, they suggest you sand with a 150 grit sandpaper, a 220 grit sandpaper, and then a 320 grit sandpaper. The thing is, I had to buy my sandpaper Memorial Day weekend at Walmart, and they had a pack with 180 grit and 220 grit, and those were my choices. So that was what I got. I'm hoping the 180 kind of splits the difference between the 150 and the 220. I don't know if that's how it works, but I finished it off with the 320, and that's the grit that they suggested you finish it with. So I'm hoping that's not going to be too big of an issue, right? Now, after that, StewMac suggests using this product called Naphtha. Suggest using something called naphtha, which is it gets the what naphtha does is it gets the oil and the grease and all that gunk off your fingers off of the guitar body. But I didn't have any of that, and I Googled it, and they said that mineral spirits was a good substitute for that. So I rubbed it down with mineral spirits, and then they suggest that you don't touch it unless you're wearing gloves after that, so that you don't get any fingerprints on it. Also, when I wiped it down with the mineral spirits, I used a handkerchief, which was didn't have any like little fuzzies on it, any little balls on it. I didn't use paper towels on it because paper towels leave a lot of lint behind, and it's just a big pain in the butt, and it's really hard to get rid of. So find something that you don't mind ruining, and that you're not going to make your husband or wife or boyfriend or girlfriend or sister or brother or father or mother mad at you for using, and then wipe it down with some mineral spirits. Okay, so that's how you prep the body. It took about an afternoon. The sanding for the belly cut took a while. The sanding in the wood grain is not that big of a deal. It just takes a little bit of patience, and just go slow, be thorough. You'll be fine. Next week, we're gonna look at how I prep the neck, and then we're gonna start spraying stuff. If you're enjoying this channel, please subscribe. If you are doing a quarantine build, please let me know about it. Let me see some pictures of it. I'd love to know what you're up to. Okay. That was this week's Learning Curve. My name's Spencer Dobson. I hope you follow me on Learning Curve Guitar on Instagram. I hope you keep coming back. I hope you're doing okay. Take care of yourself. We'll see you next time.